YouTube, we are back with the Bazaar. And so, if you haven't seen this game, it's basically a free-to-play auto-battler, and the premise is that on the left-hand side over here, you go through each day. Halfway through the day, you fight against a computer opponent. At the end of each day, you fight against a player opponent. If you win the day by fighting against the player opponent, you get a win here. You get 10 wins, you win the game. You have to do that before you lose 20 prestige. You lose the prestige equal to the amount of the day that you're on. So on day 1, if you lose 1 prestige. If you're on day 10, you lose 10 prestige, etc. With that in mind, we're playing with Vanessa. Vanessa is a kind of ammo poison type character. And let's see, a radiant catfish. I like that a lot, although a restorative lighter is probably better. So you get the selection, if you want to choose this, you get the selection of enchanted items at the beginning of the match. And I think I really like the catfish, but I think I'm going to go with the restorative lighter because this gives me burn and heal. Burn is a status effect that goes faster. It ticks faster than poison. So radiant catfish means that it can't be frozen, slowed, or destroyed, so no matter what, it's going to apply its effect. But with a restorative lighter, this is going to get a lot of burn and a lot of heal pretty quickly. So I'm going to go with that route. And I'm going to grab a skill right over here. At the start of each fight, haste a weapon 3 seconds. Okay, this is interesting. And I think for right now, I'm just going to go like this. Doesn't really matter. Any of these fights are okay. Just because I think after 30 seconds the sandstorm starts. And I think that means that I should win no matter what. Although this one might be closer than I want it to be. And the nice thing about the restorative lighter is that it will heal for 10 times to whatever its burn is. So if this gets 2 burn, the heal is 20. If it gets 10 burn, the heal is 100. And it's also a very fast item. It procs every 3 seconds, and you could actually speed that up as the game continues. So that is, in my opinion, one of the best options that you can get. Okay, so I've got a decent, interesting combo on skills here, because I have a skill to haste a weapon, and then I have something for when you slow a weapon, gain 5 damage. So I think I'm looking for a slow item and a weapon. I'm okay with the 1-weapon build right now. I'll grab this.
I prefer action.
And I think I'm gonna keep that. I'm not that strong right now. I'm probably gonna lose day 1 unless I have
nothing tiny,
a lucky
nothing
draw
huge.
here.
All about moderation. You can see here this only shoots twice. This one only shoots once, but it will reload if it's your only ammo item. I'm not really liking any of these options. So I think I'm probably just going to accept that I lose day 1. Someone else finds it. It all works out.
And just plan for a better day 2.
It makes this more fun.
Now we could have actually rolled there and taken a look at a different set of weapons, but just knowing the early game weapons, I didn't think there was going to be anything particularly crazy there. And so, especially because I don't have a skill that gives me extra weapon damage, unless I have a slow item, which I just don't have yet. So my thought process was that there's not really any way for me to kind of make this that much better for this day, so I'll just keep the gold, take the loss, and go on to the next day. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just get an item, beach ball. I don't have aquatics right now, but I think I will. And then let me see if I can find a weapon skill. So your weapons deal 10 damage. Poison items have +2 poison. Shield. I like this, but I think I'm going to roll. I'm being a bit greedy here, but this is why. Because now I can get 20 damage, especially if I'm doing one weapon build. And I think I'm looking for a slow item right now. Crow's Nest is good though. That gives me lifesteal on this. And I don't have a slow item here, so I think I'm just going to keep it like this. The two things that I'm looking for right now that are really going to kind of level the power of this up are, well, there's three main things. First, I'm looking for burn, so I'm looking for anything that will give extra burn to this. And then the second thing that I'm looking for is a slow item, because every time I use a slow item in a fight, this will gain 5 damage. And then I guess the third thing would be just raw damage on this as well. With that in mind, none of these are burn enemies. And the Covetous Thief does have the Shadow Cloak, which would, this right over here, when you use the item to the right of it, haste it for 1 second, and if it's a weapon, also gain 3 damage. So the hope is that I will get that. And this should be an easy win no matter what. The other decent option would be the Grindstone, which is the weapon to the left of it, gains 10 damage. And it would be a little bit before I would be able to put them on the board, because I'd have to level up before I can do that. But either of those would be a decent option. I would prefer the Shadow Cloak. Start of each fight, gain 1 gold. That's fine. Can't be mad about that. B1, B2, so upgrade a bronze item or get a small burn item. I think... The first instinct would be to do Crow's Nest, because then you get more crit chance, and every time this crits, it does double damage. I think that's what I'm going to do, because this doesn't really need to level up, because every time this levels up, it's just going to give it one extra burn, and I can get more burn on that other way, so I don't really need to get this to like diamond or anything like that.
All things in moderation. Nice.
A silencer is good, and seaweed is good, but I mean, with the restorative lighter, do I really need it? Because it does the same thing. I'll grab it, and let's go to the next fight. Really unfortunate that I haven't really had any burn applied onto the lighter. I haven't really faced any burn enemies. I haven't seen any burn, like any cinders or anything like that. That's really the big win condition here, is getting anywhere from like 10, 15, 20 burn, or some kind of burn scaling skill onto the lighter. That, more than anything, is going to be what allows me to win. So without seeing that, kind of in a holding pattern. Because this raw damage on the rifle it's useful, but it doesn't have any status effect, so you can see that, sure, I can shoot them every once in a while, but it's not really actually having any sustain, whereas they're putting poison on me every time they attack me, so even when they're not attacking, I'm still being damaged. And so, in theory, if this had like 10 burn on it, which would be a lot for day 2, but I would be applying a similar status effect. So, that's the thought process there. Alright, still no burn. Silver tier, I think I'm just going to upgrade, and I will, I guess, upgrade this, because at this point I really do need extra burn, so even the 1 extra burn on that is helpful. Bronze tier loot, no, I think I'm okay. Bronze tier aquatic, I think that's okay with me, because That's not what I'm looking for, but that's okay. Non-weapons.
Cast aside your deathstruments.
Okay.
Glad we could share this experience.
And okay. I don't have any haste right now, though, so this is a good combo right here, because when you haste the catfish, it gains extra poison, and then this hastes multiple items, and then when you use an aquatic, which all three of these are, but it's kind of in contrast to what we're doing right now. And with that said, actually, with dock lines over here will slow 2 items, and remember we have this skill, when you slow a weapon gains 5 damage. So this actually slows 2 items for 3 seconds every 5 seconds. So I think actually what I'm going to do is just kind of move on from that right there, and I guess from that, and then grab the dock lines. And I actually think that I would rather have the scaling damage than the this will basically give it a flat 10 extra damage at bronze, and then will reduce its cooldown by 15%. At a 3-second cooldown this early, that's pretty fast, so I'm not as worried about that. But this giving it the scaling damage in the fight is way more important right now. When I level up next, the board will expand 1 more time, and then I'll be able to put this on, but for right now, I just don't need to. And I don't think we're that strong right now. I definitely can beat the Dabbling Apprentice. I don't like the idea of freeze with the Frost Street Challenger, even though I have 3 actives. But I think the Dabbling Apprentice actually has Cinders, so I'm going to go here, even though I think I could probably beat all 3 of them. And it does not have Cinders. That's unfortunate. So you see here when this proc, how this one's damage went up. Okay.
It was Aqua Fortis, then Tin Salt. Ah!
Okay, really hoping for a burn skill. No, but I'll take extra crit chance. I don't mind that. Get a weapon. Okay, so Curio, I think, has the item that I want, but doesn't have it here. Oh, that's unfortunate. And I think if I reroll, I wouldn't be able to afford to get it again. So I'm just going to grab that. Sell this, get some extra damage. This is good for once I level up, but then it would be either this or the silencer, and I think long term I would want the silencer over the shadowed cloak. Hold on, I'm not sure about that actually. I'll take it.
Tragedy. Reuse everything.
And I know it doesn't look like a lot has changed, but I've actually gotten a lot stronger this turn just because I've managed to get the dock lines with the slow out here, so I am scaling my damage. Now it's not that fast, it is every 5 seconds, but it's still, it is still damage scaling. Now the question is whether I'll be able to survive a high crit chance again, and the answer to that is yes, which is great, because I'm shooting a lot faster than them, so I think I actually win this fight, which is great. Oh, no I don't. Okay. They definitely needed that crit. I thought that my scaling would get me through it, but they got a crit. And they had a high crit chance, so I can't even say it was lucky. Alright, let's see here. No, none of those. I don't need to roll again. Okay, so now that I've leveled up again, the question is, I think right now more than anything I need damage scaling. It's not like I'm attacking slow. The 2 things that I need right now are damage scaling and more burn. So I think, as much as I would love to upgrade the Shadow Cloak, oh, that's... yeah.
If you want cheap junk, go see Curio.
I need to upgrade this now. Because if I don't upgrade this now, like, I was thinking I might be able to get a burn skill and get more burn on here, but if I don't upgrade this now, I'm kind of reaching the point where I'm not getting bronzes anymore in shops, and so if this is at a bronze level, I wouldn't be able to upgrade it without using an upgrade, like a dedicated upgrade later. Like, I wouldn't be able to find it in shops and then go from silver to gold, etc. So that was my thought process there.
I love this company. I love the
No, I could roll again, but I don't really need to.
Not going to like this.
And I think the same is actually true for the silencer. I'll be able to find it later. And if I don't, I'm like, I don't really need it. I kind of made that choice that I'm going for the Shadow Cloak over the silencer.
Life is pretty long. I can help you finish it faster.
And so the nice thing now is that I have 2 scaling mechanisms on the rifle. So I have the slow, when you slow a weapon gains 5 damage, and this, every time this slows is actually 2 slows, so I actually gain 10 damage every time this goes off. But then with the Shadow Cloak, every time that the rifle shoots, it gains 5 damage as well as gets haste. So you can see there how that started to scale pretty quickly. It went from 30 damage to 90 damage in the fight in a pretty quick fight. I don't need to upgrade a bronze item. I could actually upgrade the rifle just to guarantee that I have an opportunity to upgrade it in shops later. It's like upgrading it just by itself is not really going to give you that much more damage. You're going to get most of your damage from damage scaling or from skills. So that's why I was hesitant and it was lowest priority for me. I don't really think right now there's anything that I need. So I'm just going to take the free item. Silver Catfish is just not what I'm playing right now. I'll hold on to it. And let's see, day 4.
Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun.
Okay. So they have a lifesteal revolver, which is not scaling damage at all, so I don't see how they beat us. Alright. Oh, because they also have the life preserver, that's why they came back there. Because when you lose all your, the first time you would die, it heals you for the heal of the life preserver, but yeah, that doesn't matter. So, ended the fight with 146 damage and 48% crit chance on the rifle, which is great. I really do want to continue still getting more burn on the lighter, because that, like, being able to double that heal and burn with the lifesteal of the rifle will be really powerful. And if I hadn't mentioned it, I'm getting lifesteal on the rifle because of the crow's nest over here. It gives me crit chance as well as lifesteal. So basically every time it does X amount of damage, it heals me for X amount. And I'm looking for a burn skill, and this is the best burn skill in the game. This is what I was like, I wasn't even thinking I would get this, but in my head I was like, oh, that would work pretty well. So, conflagration. When you use an item with burn, that item gains 1 burn for the fight. So every time that this goes off every 3 seconds, this will now get an extra burn. So the first time it will be 3 burn and 30 healing, then 4 burn and 40 healing, etc., etc. Hands down the absolute best possible skill I could have gotten in that situation. And now I don't even need to put more burn on here, although having a higher base burn would be fine. But at this point, I think this is pretty much I'm not going to say it's a guaranteed 10 wins, but the setup that I have here is really strong. Building Crescendo. When you use an item, your items gain crit chance. Your items start with 0%. You have 100% this crit chance, so you start at 0. I think I'm going to skip that. I don't really want that. I want to start with a lot of crit. I don't want to start with no crit and build it up, although I understand that it is powerful. Okay, I'm not really, at this point, it sounds crazy, but I'm not looking for items as much. I want to level these up, but I don't really, this might be a little bit boring from here, because I think I got the setup that I need. I have scaling on the rifle, I have scaling on the lighter. I don't really know, other than just improving and, you know, leveling up each part of this. I don't really know what else I need. Now, this opponent does have a lot of burn, so it's kind of you gotta beat them really quickly, and that's kind of where some of the improving the base damage on the rifle and improving the base burn on the lighter would have been helpful there, because if this was like 100 damage and 10 burn, we would have won that match, but fortunately it's against the computer, so it doesn't matter all that much. Temporary boost. It's a little early for that, but I don't really know what else I would do here. So sure. I don't have any more bronze. Aquatic, I do have 2 aquatic items, so sure.
So much new stuff to show you.
Water wheel is good, but not for this. Okay.
May the tides bring you back. You should know.
And unless they have something that puts on a lot of burn or poison really quickly, I have a hard time seeing myself losing this. I mean, they put on some burn, some poison. They don't seem to have a lot of scaling. Yeah, they don't have any scaling at all. Even on the catfish, because they don't have any haste. So yeah, that's a nice easy match. 2 wins in 5 days, not great, but we're gotten a lot stronger and have won the last 2 days, so I'm not complaining about that. I would rather lose 3 times at the beginning and then not lose again, because then I've only lost 3. Well, actually, 6 prestige, rather than at the end, like on day 12, where if you lose on day 12, you lose 12 prestige. So I'll just take some extra gold here. Let me see.
Life is urgent. Hurry up.
This is interesting, but it's a lot slower. So a turbo cutlass, it has multicast, so even though it's a base damage of 30, it would actually be a base damage of 60. It does deal double crit damage. It would haste these 2 items, and then every time this goes, this gets stronger, and then this hasted as well. I think I'm gonna try it for a fight. I don't really have great options here. It's either commit to it or... Sure, yeah, I'll commit to it. So now every time this attacks, it attacks slower, which was where my hesitation went. The other one was attacking every 3 seconds, this is attacking every 6 seconds, but this does 100 base damage plus lifesteal, and then it also has, every time that this slows, it's going to get an extra 10 damage, and then every single time it attacks, it also gets an extra 10 damage because of the multicast. So, and it also is turbo, so it hastes these 2 items, which means that this is going to happen faster. Which means that this is going to scale faster. So even though the overall pace of putting on damage is slower, the amount and pace of scaling is a lot higher. So that's kind of the trade-off that I was thinking of there.
Just waiting for your command.
I'll grab a silver tier loot item and let's see. Hopefully it's a cinders. It is not, but I'll take some healing. And I think at this point I'm pretty comfortable attacking the stronger enemies unless they have a lot of burn or like item destruction skills. Yeah, and as you can see, this is starting to put on quite a bit of damage. Because even though that said 120, it was actually 120 times 2 because of the multicast. Aquatic
If you find it in the
items.
sea, that means it's treasure.
No. No.
I'm sure you'll still win, even without my treasures.
Don't need that either. And this is a gold cutlass, so I do have a lot of medium items, so let me see if I can find an
What can I
upgrade
get
here.
you?
No? Ah, dock lines, that's exactly what I was looking for. So this is great, because now with that skill, this is now slowing 3 items because of the upgrade from silver to gold. So now every time that this goes off, this is actually going to gain 15 damage. And since this has multicast, it's going to be 15 times 2. So every time this goes off, every 5 seconds, but also hasted by a second, this is going to gain 30 damage. So that's kind of, when I was considering the trade-off, I was thinking about that as well, whether or not when I upgrade this, this is going to actually scale a lot faster.
We're out to dethrone a king, not to squabble with nobody. My fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
Let's see. They don't really have any scaling. Their double barrel is out of ammo. This is kind of a confused build. But
Next time, boys, less blunder.
as you
more
can see here, this
plunder.
was at 170 damage times 2. And it's also lifesteal, so every single time it attacks, I get that amount of healing back as well.
Discounts for peace.
No, I think I'm gonna skip that, because I like the scaling more, although...
Must be a hole in my coin box.
No, I think I'm okay.
You're listening to your needs.
I was kind of debating the same question of do I switch the shadow cloak for the gold lighter, but I think I'm just going to keep it as is. And then here's the question. So it has to be silver tier or lower, so it's this one, or this one. Do I want higher crit chance, which means double damage? And then with this weapon, it's also double crit damage as well. Or do I want to upgrade the shadow cloak, which would mean I think it's 7 or 8 damage every time it goes up, the weapon goes off, plus the haste. I think at this point I'm just going to go for the crit chance. Just because that's going to accelerate the damage output a lot. So now this has 68% crit chance. And I don't think there's an item that I would want, but I guess it's my best option here.
Need some work.
Turbo Captain's Wheel. Sure.
That belongs in a museum. But I guess you can keep it.
So I think this is going to get hasted just from this proccing a lot, so I'm not too worried about the lighter. And it's already fast as well, whereas with the dock lines. So basically, switching in this Turbo Captain's Wheel, what ends up happening here is, because I have a large item, this is the Captain's Wheel cooldown goes from 5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. So every 2.5 seconds, this is going to haste adjacent items for 2 seconds. Now, when this gets hasted, it's going to scale this a lot more, but every time that this goes off, it also hastes 2 items for 1 second. And so, kind of creating an engine here where there's just kind of going to be perpetual haste on these items.
I know.
And my thought process, the reason why I put the dock lines next to the Captain's Wheel rather than the lighter, is because I would rather have this go off more than the lighter, because this is going to scale this faster. And I think that this is still going to get some haste from this, and it's a pretty fast item anyway, so that's kind of my thought process there. And I'll test it out if it doesn't seem like this is scaling. But what I did give up was some of that immediate scaling that I had on when I had the Shadowed Cloak, because now this is not gonna, the item that was in this place is not gonna scale this, it's only gonna be this, scaling this. But I think that's a fair enough trade-off, and as you can see, the lighter's still getting a good amount of haste. And even though my overall scaling is a little bit less, I'm still getting perfectly fine scaling. And this is a really less than ideal opponent because they're freezing me a lot, even though it is a computer opponent. But that's slowing down everything as well because I'm not attacking as much, which means the whole entire engine is not really working as well because of the freeze. So against an opponent that doesn't have freeze or doesn't have slow, which later on they're all going to have that, so it's kind of a but against an opponent that doesn't have those, this is going to be a lot more powerful. Let's see. I'll take a look at large items and see if I can get Crow's Nest. No. And no.
Tiny Andrew says I need to close the deal.
Alright. And burn skills. I actually really want burn skills right now, because I think that overall I'm not putting on a lot of burn. Okay, when you use an item with burn, that item gains 2 burn for the fight instead of 1. So that will scale it a lot faster in the fight. Or I can give it much higher starting burn. I think I'm going to take the faster scaling in the fight, just because unless I'm fighting an opponent that completely one-shots me in like 3 or 4 seconds, that's going to really quickly outscale that initial burn. Like even if I took the +6, this has to proc twice for me to, well technically 3 times, for me to meet that level of scaling. And you can see how, oh, I was talking about a one-weapon opponent and they got me. I wasn't even looking at them, I was looking at the lighter. So they had a 50% crit chance, 785 damage dinosaur. And this didn't have any crit chance. So this went off once and took off some initial damage, and then this basically got me pretty much immediately after. And then they had, oh, okay. So friend, and friend. So they basically had their engine here was the companion core haste adjacent items for 3 seconds, and then every time they use a friend, it gets charged for a second. So this and this were in place. Basically, well, really, this was just in place. This all was in place just to get this hasted and get these 2 ones attacking faster. Nice build. Okay. I still have aquatic items, so I will go to aquatics.
Look like seaweed. So cute.
Don't need that, but this I think I'm going to take just because the coconut or citrus will give me regen or health. I think I'm probably okay on the Shadow Cloak, but let's see. I'll take the free chocolate bars, 30 max health right there. And even though I think I can beat this guy has cooldown reduction, so I think I'm gonna take on this guy. Because if I can get one of these feathers, it will make everything go just a little bit faster. And at this point right now, the main things that I'm looking for is just getting everything attacking a little bit faster, because the faster that everything goes, the faster my scaling engine gets in place.
See that plank? Walk it.
Okay.
Life is risk. Will you take it?
Single max health, and I think I don't think I need that. XP.
At the edge of the foundation, they wait,
Level up.
they build.
Silver tier loot. Regen, sure. Non-weapon items, I have some of those, but I don't have a lot of gold right now, so I'm gonna skip the reroll.
Go ahead.
And
Underestimate
let's see.
it. It makes this more fun.
Alright, so they have a lot of, well, some burn and poison, and they don't really have a lot of scaling. It doesn't, oh, they have damage scaling. But it doesn't look like, oh no, they do have. Okay, I think we're okay. They had damage and poison scaling, but they didn't have burn scaling, and burn generally is what scares me because it ticks a lot faster than poison. So, nice win. 8 days, 4 wins, not great. Not great. Most susceptible here to builds that have a lot of really fast, strong damage, or builds that have a lot of freeze or slow. Those are going to be the two things that really make me have problems because I don't have a lot of base damage or base burn. So I really need to get everything moving pretty quickly in order to get my scaling going. But other than that, there's not a lot of builds that I'm really susceptible to. Although obviously just because I'm on, like, anytime that you have face an opponent that has a lot of burn, if you don't have a lot of shield, or you're really susceptible to that. But overall, I think right now I'm in a pretty good spot. Shadow Cloak. Okay, regen, max health, max health, max health. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. Enchant an item with heal effects or enchant an item. I think I'm going to go with the random enchantment on... Oh no, the Cutlass already has turbo on it. Ooh. So, I think I'm going to go with the random enchantment on the dock lines.
Your things are so dull.
Because I already kind of am doubled up on the healing between the lifesteal and the restorative lighter, so I don't think I need more. A little bit of poison on this. That's fine. It's not really going to change my life, but that's fine. It does give me the option to take poison skills if they come up. I do still want to get more base burn. Starting with the 2 base burn on the lighter is not, like, it's not bad just because of how much scaling I have. Like, I'm already up to 22 burn on it, but if I had a higher base burn, I think I'd probably, by the end of the fight, be putting on 100 to 200 burn rather than the 69 that I was there. These don't really do anything for me. Regen, I like regen, that's fine. I'll get some silver chocolate bars. The silver chocolate bars are like when you go to the chocolate aisle and you look on the front and it says cacao, but then you look on the back and it says cocoa, and you have a mini aneurysm because you're like, how is this legal? It's like good, but actually not that great.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
Okay, so they are putting on a lot of damage really quick. They don't have high crit chance, which is good. I think I win. They don't have scaling, they don't have crit chance, even if they're going fast. I think that any damage they put on me, I can quickly heal through. Getting a crit on... Oh, they do have scaling crit. Oh, interesting. Where's that coming from? Oh, if you have exactly one weapon as lifesteal and 5% crit chance. That's a good skill, but I would love that skill. You can't when you fight against actual person, and these are async, so it's not like I'm fighting this person in real time, but when you fight against another person, they don't actually drop skills. One thing though, is that I do have the skill for slow. When you slow a weapon, gains 5 damage for the fight. I would love an upgrade for that, so let me take a look at the slow skills. But I would also just love any other slow, like start a fight slow, or first time you use your rightmost item each fight, charge a slow item. That's fine, but it's not great. Slow and steady. When you slow, your weapons gain 6 damage for the fight. So it's actually a different skill. It sounds like it's the same, but it's a different one. Which means that every time that this goes off, this would do 15, but also plus 18. And remember, this is multicast, so that would be 30 plus 36, so that would be 72, I think? 72 damage every time this goes off. So yeah, that's kind of exactly what I was looking for. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't really need tools. I mean, I guess the captain's wheel is a tool, and the lighter is a tool. And the dock blinds is the tool. Maybe I do need tools.
I've got everything you need to do anything you want.
And I didn't get any of them, so I probably should have just taken the poison and health and shield items. None of these are, like, this isn't actually a health item. It's a tool, so that wouldn't show up there. I think I'll just take the regen, although the gumballs for extra crit chance and extra damage is interesting. No, I think I'll just take the regen. Void Golem will destroy an item. I don't want to do that. You will put on a lot of damage really, really quickly. Let me see if I can beat you. So you're going to put on a little bit over 2,000 damage every time that this attacks. Yeah. Alright, that's not happening. So I'm still, and I kind of knew that going in, I'm still pretty weak to really fast, high damage builds.
Sale, no sale. I want what's right for you.
This
I think you're really gonna enjoy
is
that.
good, because every time I win a fight against a player, I'll gain an XP. An extra XP. Definitely want that. Other than that, I think I'm good here. So my damage scaling is going to be a lot faster now.
My fight isn't with you.
Let's see what they have. I guess they have shield and some damage. They don't have damage scaling, and they don't seem to have shield scaling. So it's just static, decently reasonable amount of shield. Oh no, there is some shield scaling here, but no. No damage scaling. Yeah, this is a W. Putting up 291 times 2 by the end of the fight. That's great. And that's not even thinking about the burn.
Alright. Cinders. Can I get a cinders? No. Okay, crit chance though. I do want crit chance and I want it on you. An extra 15% crit chance, that's fantastic. Sure, another fight, I'll do that. Mimic. Set. Let's see. No, that's not that big a deal. They're gonna put out a lot of damage, but no damage scaling. Weapons dealing an extra 10 damage would be fine. And anything else here I pretty much just would get to sell. Weapons deal 10 extra damage. That's great. Small weapon? No, small and large items. I have exactly one small item and exactly one large item. So I'm going to just take the temporary boost here. Lord Arkin, I think I got you.
I assume you're here to give tribute.
Things that I would like, I don't really need that. It would be fine to get some shield, but this, when you sell this recover 5 prestige, would be great. And yeah, by the end of the fight, doing 260 damage, multi-fast times 2. That's pretty great. I'm not mad about that at all. Upgrade an item. So I think it has to be the dock lines, because if I upgrade this to diamond, it would slow 4 items, and then that would mean, where is that? When you slow, your weapons gain 6 damage, so that would be 6 times 4, so that would be 24 times 2, so that would be 48 every time this goes off. Plus, also, when you slow a weapon gains 5 damage, so that would be 5 times 4, so that would be 20 times 2, so that would be 40. So every single time this goes off, this would get another 98 damage. So yeah, it has to be that. Crits, an extra little bit of crit chance if this went from 60 to 80% or something like that. Is irrelevant in comparison to every 3.5 seconds or so getting an extra 98 damage. It's not in the same ballpark. Especially because that 98 could crit and could double crit because of this weapon. So then that extra 98, if it crit, would be an extra 196, and if it double crit, it would be an extra 294. Yeah. So, and the double crit is because it doesn't actually double the total amount. It's not like
we're on an important mission,
you have your base damage, then when you crit it doubles, and then if you double crit it doubles that. It actually just adds on one more. So it's not like it's not like a times 4. It's actually, you have the times 2 from the crit, and then times an extra 1 from the double crit. So, and only of the base damage, not of the base plus the crit. Let's see here. Sell some coconuts, get my regen. And my regen over here is actually starting to amp up a little bit. And more regen, that's great. And I think I'm actually, now, just because I'm doing okay on gold, I think I'm actually going to go for the gold tier chocolate bars. So this is like the fair trade cacao bars that actually, says cacao on the front and the back, and hasn't been roasted into oblivion and then sold to you thinking that you're eating good chocolate. Non-weapon items, I have a few of those. So let's see.
The peaceful, punish the
No.
warful.
And no.
You're not ready to accept the light, and that's okay.
Okay, 43 regen.
Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun. We're out to dethrone a king, not to squabble with nobody.
Okay, what is that going on here? Hasted, lots of poison. Lots of poison, lots of... Is it lots of haste? No, it's not actually a lot of haste. Oh, it is because of this. So every time they haste, the pufferfish goes faster. But while they have some haste, they need something like a beach ball or a captain's wheel here, because the pufferfish was not proccing enough. Nice build, missing a piece or two. Alright, as that 7 wins. Day 11. So now the enemies that I'm fighting are going to start to change a little bit here. Just because with it being day 11, and let me just go for the fair trade chocolate bars again and pay 10 for that and get 30 per instead of 20 or 10 per 30 health. The enemies that I'm facing now are going to start changing a little bit just because now is when a lot of the pig opponents start coming online, and so they're going to have really high shield and likely really like fast, strong single attacks, which is kind of exactly what I'm weak to. So we'll see how this goes. If you have exactly one weapon, its cooldown is reduced by 5% while your enemy has a slowed item. Even with that being hasted, I don't see that being significant. When you slow your items, gain crit chance. I mean, I already have crit chance. I mean, these are all good, but they're not, like, great. Like, slowing my cooldown by 5% while an enemy has a slowed item. They're going to have 4 slowed items every 3.5 seconds or so because of the haste. So it's, like, not bad to reduce my cooldown by 5%. But 5% is going to take me, I mean, my cooldown is 6, but with haste it's maybe, like, 4.5 seconds. So it'll take me to, like, 4.3 seconds. Not that much. Crit chance, I already have crit chance, and just upgrading this was going to get it higher. I don't think I need to have scaling crit on this build. And I don't have a vehicle, so I think I'm going to roll here. First time you fall below half health each fight, slow 4 items for 2 seconds. Now this is interesting because it means that once I fall below half health, the second I fall below half health, I'm going to get an automatic extra 98 damage on here because of those other skills, so that's interesting. I don't have ammo items, and I don't use large items, so I think I'm just going to grab this. And if I end up getting low on health, then that will be useful. Enchant an item with heal effects. So in theory, I think with this would get like 40 or 60 heal every time that my weapon goes off. I already have a lot of, between these, I already have a lot of healing. I think, crazily enough, I'm going to skip the enchantment. What I might do is, I think I'm going to take the enchantment, and then if I get another one later, yeah, 60 heal. Then if I get another enchantment opportunity later, then I'll grab that. So, Property Baron here is the exact kind of opponent that I don't want to fight, which is high shield and then value-based attacks based upon the amount of shield that they have, so that's not really what I want to see. Frost Street Champion is going to freeze me, but I don't think it's going to be enough to actually stop me. It'll just slow me down some. And yeah, I think I'm just going to go for the Frost Street Champion. I don't think I lose this fight, I just think it's a little bit of a longer fight. He just doesn't put out a lot of damage. His main thing is just freezing, and
I can deal with freeze if they don't have a lot of status effects. If he had a lot of burn... Ooh, this is tough. Void Column is going to destroy an item. But I will take the extra... Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's... I don't think I win this. Because at the beginning of a fight, it's going to destroy an item. And then also every time that I attack, the Caltrops will attack me every time I use an item, so yeah. This guy sucks.
My ship,
But I'll take the
my
1
fate,
XP for fighting.
my will to get stronger.
Skills, I'm looking for a slow skill or a... This is a pretty interesting one. If I can get a shield... If I can get a shield... enchantment. I should roll here because I don't have any shield. When you crit your shield items, gain 5 shield for the fight. I crit a lot. So in theory, if I did have a shield item, then this would scale it. And if I got a shield enchantment on either of these, or even on, well, no, not on this, on either of these, it could give me some shield defense. I should roll here though, because it's just not what I'm doing on the fight, and yeah, I'm gonna roll. It's good, it's just not this build. When you crit with an item, it gains 10% crit chance for the fight. I already have 83% crit chance on this, so that doesn't matter. When you burn with an item, poison 1. When you poison with an item, burn 2. These two are going to play well together. I think I'm going to take that. Just because at this point, if I get frozen or slowed on the cutlass, I need status effects to be putting on a decent more amount, and I haven't really gotten any burn for the lighter still. It does have the in-fight scaling, but I just need to ramp those status effects as much as I can.
I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago. My fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
Okay, so it looks like they have a lot of burn, and they have scaling burn. But, oh, they do have haste. Oh, this is gonna be tough. I think I lose this one. And they have slow. Yeah, I definitely lose this one.
I paint my ship red, but
It's a good build. Especially on a Vanessa, getting all of that. That's a lot of dually items. Nice play. Alright, random enchantment. I've gotten heal every time. Oh my god, this is...
Greetings, old friend. I'm pleased to finally meet you.
What could I want here? Hold on a second, let me check out our Bazaar. Random enchantment on the dock lines. Heavy, double slow duration, icy. Icy would be great, but that's rare. Turbo would be nice. Shielded, okay. Restorative, that'd be fine. Poison I have. I think I want to keep the poison.
Time is a river.
And so if I go
begins at its
to
source,
the
forever
crow's
flowing.
nest. Heavy, icy, that'd be great. Turbo would be great. Shielded, sure. Restorative I have, that's fine. I don't really need that. Toxic would be fine. Fire would be fine. Deadly, double crit. Yeah, I think it has to be the crow's nest here. Is that heavy? Shiny. Interesting. If you have exactly one weapon, that weapon has lifesteal. If you have 2 or fewer weapons, they have lifesteal. Wait, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Shiny on here will give 2 weapons lifesteal?
Also, I have not been paying attention to this and probably lost so many of these.
Ships may sink, but I'm a good swimmer.
I don't know, I mean, I'll keep myself open to it, but... and here's the shield enchantment. When I didn't take that skill before. Shield will be shield 40.
All of this is like a gift from the sea. Or something. You don't want the whirly thing? Or the clanger?
If I don't have what you need, I'll help you find who does.
No, because then I'd have to reload that. I was thinking about taking a double barrel for
Every
now.
item finds its value. It's a relationship, you know?
Frostry Champion, I've already beat him, so sure. See, I would have thought the Shiny Crow's Nest would have given your weapon an extra multicast, rather than giving 2 weapons lifesteal. That's interesting though, because in theory, if I could find a small weapon that had high damage and didn't need to be reloaded, at this point, just because I haven't scaled the lighter, it's like a question of, do I just do that and just give up on the status effects? Upgrade an item. I can't upgrade dock lines anymore. Captain's Wheel would just give me more haste. Duration, but I'm already pretty... I mean, I'm already hasted fairly consistently. Because of the double haste duration, so it's actually 4 seconds. I think it has to be. I mean, extra crit chance, does that really matter at 83% crit chance? Or do I just go to a gold tier skill? I think I just go to a skill.
I'll help you discover for yourself.
This is fun, but I'm not going to use that. This is interesting. So, if you have exactly one weapon, quality over quantity, if you have exactly one weapon, it has lifesteal and 5% crit chance. So, then I wouldn't, in theory, need the Crow's Nest. But then I would also only have 28% crit chance. And I really do need the crit chance for this to do the amount of damage. Shield Bash. The first 4 times your enemy uses a non-weapon item, charge 1 weapon. That's going to make me put out a lot of damage really quickly. I think I'm just going to take Shield Bash here. I still am open to a small... the start of each fight, haste a weapon in 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Sure. I still am open to a small item here. A small weapon item. But it would have to be a really perfect one. Because at that point I would be giving up the burn, which it hasn't really been that big of a difference. Let's see, a 7-win Vanessa on level 15 and on its last life, so kind of in the same situation as me.
Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun. I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
This shiny crow's nest thing is interesting. Poison.
Oh my god, what was that? That's a lot of scaling. Where did that all come from? I gotta beat this guy quick, otherwise it's gonna... Oh, that freeze might beat it. Yeah.
No ball.
What was that? Where did all that scaling come from? Your weapons have plus damage equal to the poison on your enemy. So this does X amount of poison. And then a lot of weapons. And one of the weapons is a shield dragon, which has burn equals to this item's damage. So that's where all the burn came from. And then the toxic revolver, poison equal to 10% of this item's damage. So how did that put out so much damage though? Or so much poison if it only went off once? It says it put off 390
Crimson
poison.
Storm hasn't sat in the dock this long since my father built her.
Okay. When you burn, charge a shield item, so then every time this attacks, it charges itself. Smart. Okay. The freeze, that's... yeah. And then scaling crit chance. How did this guy get its damage scaled so much? When you use a weapon... Oh, it's not an active. I get it. That's a nasty build. I can't even be mad. Like, that's a very creative, fun, nasty build. Gotta say props to them. To the Moldy G. Props to you. GG, good game. And
All of this is just training. Our real fight is on Pelago.
7 wins. Silver victory with Vanessa. It's okay. I've done better, done worse. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Peace.